The morning sun gleamed over the city skyline, as a man in a plain gray hoodie stepped out of a modest car. Nobody would have guessed he was the founder and CEO of the multi-million-dollar retail chain, Urban Essence. But today, James Porter wasn't here as the boss. He wanted to see how his employees treated everyday customers. No cameras, no suits, no assistants, just him. He walked into one of his biggest stores, greeted by shelves of shining products and a crowd of customers. As he wandered, he noticed a young employee standing by the counter, scrolling through her phone. James smiled politely and asked for help finding a product. The employee barely looked up and sighed, "I'm busy right now." James felt an unexpected sting in his chest. Busy. She didn't even recognize the men who built the very place she worked in. That moment would soon change everything, not just for her, but for everyone in that store. James stood quietly, pretending to browse. The employee rolled her eyes and went back to scrolling, whispering something under her breath. Other customers glanced at James, some shaking their heads. A kind older woman approached him and said softly, "They don't treat everyone like that, only people they think don't belong." Her words struck deep. He had spent years building a company based on respect, equality, and service, but clearly, that message wasn't reaching the floor. James decided to test a few more staff members. One young man smiled warmly, asking if he needed help. Another ignored him completely. The contrast was painful. This was his dream company, but it felt like a stranger's store. As he picked up a few items and approached the counter, the same rude employee sighed again, "Are you buying or not?" James looked into her eyes, calm but disappointed. "Yes," he said quietly, "I'd like to see how you treat customers when you think no one's watching." The tension in the air was thick. The cashier scanned the items without a word, tapping impatiently. James watched her every move, silently observing. He noticed a manager across the floor, chatting, laughing, unaware of the scene unfolding. James thought about all the training sessions, the meetings, the promises. He believed his company was different. But now, in disguise, he saw cracks in the very foundation. The employee shoved his bag toward him. "Have a good day," she muttered sarcastically. James smiled faintly, not in anger, but in reflection. "You too," he said, his tone calm but full of weight. As he walked out of the store, he knew this visit was far from over. He was coming back, but next time, not as an unknown customer. He was coming as the CEO, and the truth would soon unfold for everyone who thought kindness was optional. The next morning, the store buzzed with news. The CEO was visiting all local branches for a performance review. Nobody suspected it was because of yesterday. Employees straightened shelves, managers checked uniforms, and the rude cashier, Alicia, rolled her eyes, saying, "They never visit this branch anyway." But when a sleek black car pulled up and James Porter stepped out, this time in a tailored suit, silence fell. The same employee who dismissed him froze. Her phone slipped slightly from her hand. James greeted everyone with a warm smile, shaking hands, thanking staff. Then his eyes met hers. "It's good to see you again," he said calmly. She swallowed hard, realizing her mistake. The other employees glanced at each other, confused. James turned to the team and said, "Yesterday, I visited this store, but not like this. I was just another customer." A wave of shock rippled through the room. James gathered the team in the break room. His voice was steady, not angry, but deeply sincere. This company was built on one promise: respect for everyone. But yesterday, I learned we still have a lot to fix. Alicia's eyes watered. "Sir, I didn't know." He nodded gently. "That's the point. You shouldn't treat people kindly because of who they are. You should treat them kindly because of who you are." The room was silent. Even the manager lowered his head. James continued, "We'll be introducing new training, not to punish, but to rebuild the heart of this company. Because what truly defines us isn't how we act when someone's watching, but how we act when no one is." The words hung in the air like truth itself. Every employee felt the weight of it. Over the next few weeks, everything changed. James personally attended each store's new training session. Alicia worked hard to make amends, greeting every customer with genuine warmth. James noticed her effort. One day, she approached him nervously. "Mr. Porter, I just wanted to say thank you for not firing me." He smiled kindly. "Everyone deserves a second chance, Alicia. The lesson isn't to be perfect, it's to grow." That moment became a turning point, not only for her but for many employees. The culture began to shift. Customers noticed. Reviews improved. The company that once felt distant now felt human again, just as James had always dreamed it would. Months later, the store was thriving. James visited again, this time openly, walking through aisles full of smiles and energy. Alicia greeted him first, offering help with a cheerful tone. He laughed softly. "I see you're taking your job seriously now." She grinned. "Thanks to you, sir. You reminded me that every customer matters." James looked around, pride filling his heart. What began as a simple undercover visit had turned into a powerful transformation. His message spread across the company, inspiring others to lead with empathy and humility. As he left the store, he thought about that first day, the cold rejection, the hidden lesson, and the change that followed. Sometimes, he realized, you have to walk through your own doors as a stranger to remember why you built them in the first place.